So now we've got ourselves game number 1 between Bly and True. This is actually a best of 5 from the WCS Championship Leipzig, which was held in January. So we are now in a first Zerg versus Zerg, I believe, that I'm casting here. On the top left hand side here, we've got ourselves Bly. Bly is on Team Expert currently. His name is Aleksandr Svusuyk, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's 29 years old and he's from Ukraine. Now 29 is actually a little bit older than a lot of Starcraft 2 players, which is interesting because this guy is actually really good and this guy gets really good performances quite often. His opponent is True. True is from South Korea. He's on PSISTORM Gaming. His name is Tae Soo. He's 25 years old, so a bit younger than Bly. Hopefully experience is not much different according to what I've read. These guys are equally experienced in their career, so let's see how this one progresses out. Now looking at the production tab, it does look like Bly actually went for a super early spawning pool here, so this is going to be a super early engagement, which this is the reason why I'm not a big fan of Zerg versus Zerg, because this forces games to end so damn quickly. So 8 Zerglings on the way here at 1 minute and 20 seconds, with 2 more on the way being made right now. Doesn't even have gas on the way. Now he did start his hatchery and so did True, so they are prepared to go from this into a slightly longer game if things don't work out that well. But then again, it depends on who manages to do more economic damage. Now looking at the units that we have on the field, Bly has 10 Zerglings and he's got 2 more on the way actually. Is it just 2? Yeah, just 2 it seems. Whereas True actually has a little bit less, but he is making more Zerglings now. So he'll definitely be in a position to protect this. I think that unless Bly pulls off something really fantastic here out of the hat, then there wouldn't be too much competition for True in terms of fighting this. So as you can see, he's already holding his back, but of course Bly has more units out on the field. So this is, what is it? This is about 7 Zerglings versus 6 and 3 drones. So this could go either way at the moment, especially if there's a queen in play now as well. So obviously the queen is going to heavily swing things in True's favor. The only thing is that this hatchery is quite low, so he could actually potentially lose it if Bly was to go for a big engagement here. But no, it looks like everything is actually fine. He is managing to hold this off, and this hatchery is nice and safe at this point. I don't think that Bly has too much to continue on with at the moment. He doesn't have the economy to sustain a continuous assault here, so obviously he's going for the eco here, just as is True. So they are starting to saturate their bases now. So this is one of those rare games which doesn't quite end early on, and instead we've actually got a bit of extra an extra build up and into the mid game scenario for both of the players. So queens in place here for Bly, a big opening, so these Zerglings could potentially just run straight past them. As you can see, they just have, there's no creep here, so it's going to take them a little bit of time before they actually get in here, and this is actually a big deal. Will he be able to do a bit of economic damage with these Zerglings? I'm not sure if Bly's super early spawning pool is actually gonna work against him in this occasion now, but we'll see exactly how that works out. There is still a total of 6 Zerglings here from True. Will he be able to do anything with them is what matters here. So even if he manages to take off another 2 or 3 drones, that would probably be enough to set Bly back quite a bit, but we'll see how that plays out. So taking out 3 drones now. Let's see what the total loss is actually. I think it's this, there we go. Orcs has killed 3 in total, so not a huge lot, but the units killed slightly in favor of True as well. So I think he's actually going to be just fine in holding this off. Looks like True is actually going for a 3rd base as well. Bly not quite going for his one. He was obviously focused on holding off this base from his opponent's counterattack. Now he does have a few creep tumors coming out as well, gonna throw down another inject, and I think that Bly is trying to transition into the mid game at the moment. Typically you don't see them spreading creep too much outside of their base and this place in between here, unless they are really planning on moving forward. Now an double evolution chamber and a roach warren coming out, actually that's an interesting choice of buildings. I wonder, is he expecting some sort of heavy counterattack here from True, or is he just preparing to start to pump out upgrades? Now, one evolution chamber and roach warren coming out as well for True. So he's going to be well ahead in terms of economy once this base comes up. So that's going to definitely be an important factor in how this plays out. So as you can see here, both players are still making a few drones at the moment. And the question is going to be whether Bly is going to be able to expand and whether True is going to first build up the economy here a little bit and then start to do some damage with it. Now, we've already seen in previous games that I've casted that if a Zerg player gets up to about 2.5 or 3 fully saturated bases, it can become very, very difficult to hold off a continuous assault. And as you can see now, a lot of roaches being produced. This could turn to more if he continues to feel like he has the economic advantage here, and I certainly think that he does at this point. So looking at this, we've got ourselves the expansion. This is going to be a prime time for True to actually engage in all in here. He's gotten himself the level 1 weapons on the way. He's gotten himself a lot of roaches already on the field. Now Bly is responding with his own roaches, so it's not completely in True's favor. But the thing is that because True has this much earlier expansion, he's gonna have an economic advantage in both income and production capabilities. Now, he did see the timing of this expansion, so theoretically he should be in a position to actually go all in now and outperform his opponent when engaging. So he would be able to continuously push into his opponent's base, providing constant reinforcements more not efficiently but more consistently than Bly at this point. Now, he hasn't opted to do that. I don't know why that is. Maybe he feels that he doesn't have that big of an advantage, but I certainly think that he does, obviously from my point of view, given the fact that I see the whole map. So creep spread is almost a meeting at this point. Now the question is of course going to be, is there going to be a forward base, or is this where the fighting is going to start? We're going to see this in just a few moments. As you can see here, a whole lot of roaches being produced on both sides, and both players are preparing for the big fight that is pretty much imminent at any point now. So lots of roaches here, as you can see. Now, does he have any Ravagers to back this up? He doesn't quite yet. He'll probably morph them in over here. Bly does have, what is this? Just one Ravager, it seems? And going straight in there now, I think that the army supply would favor True here, but on the other side there is Queens and the Ravager already in place for Bly as well, so that is going to be a bit of a factor as well. Have to keep that in mind, that Queens can protect roaches if they're falling low. That extra one focused attack can make all the difference when doing these big kind of engages. Now both players being very careful right now. I think True has given Bly a little bit too much time to recover out of the earlier hatchery that he had. So now True is actually opting to go for a fort base. Ooh, managing to catch out the Overseer. That's actually quite a big deal. That costs a lot of money. Now I think if True actually managed to surround Bly's army, which he is certainly looking like he's interested in doing, I think that he might be able to just straight on take him. What he doesn't want to do, however, is run away like this while letting Bly's army, or True's army, Bly's army wear him down a little bit, because that means that every bit that he's not attacking, he is starting to fall further and further behind. Now the Roach is moving straight in here. Oh, managing to take out an upgrade. So that was the level 2 that was being denied here. There is actually a Spire coming out for Bly, and I don't think this is the right call right now. I think that he needs more and more units. his opponent has gotten himself the roaches planted firmly into his base, and I think that that base is going to pretty much be forfeited at this point. Now Bly is actually sitting in his base, in True's base as well. He is actually directly taking on the army though. Now because the army is split in two, he doesn't quite have as many units in it as True would like. So instead what he decides to do, it seems, is actually move all the way into Bly's base, and we've got ourselves a base trade situation going on here. The question is, who has more? And I think that the answer is actually True at this point. And after this is all over, it's all going to be up to whoever has a bigger army, because obviously there's going to be one building somewhere that's either going to be hidden or is going to be surviving just long enough to basically prevent the destruction by bases. Now this is, again, it's all really about control. It's not too much about the army. The army supply is quite different, so there's 25 army supply difference here. But the army supply is not everything. We do have to account for micro, for the corrosive biles that are thrown down, and of course the positioning as well of both players. So the base trade has pretty much been completed. Is either player going to try to hide a base here? I wonder. And there we go. True has actually won this one. So that was a really weird game, I have to say. Both players just completely ignoring each other's army. I think that Bly, I think, really needed to fight with his main army and actually go defend that. If he would have destroyed the full army after he took the first half of his army down, he might have actually had a chance to defend that, but because he really didn't have the numbers, I think the base trade situation really wasn't working out for him. So that's pretty much that for game number 1.